Happy Friday, everybody. John Emmett, how did it get to be Friday so quickly? Gordon Smith, good evening. Hi, all. Tom. Alan Long. Ridge Byrne, B-Y-R-N-E, Byrne. Ed Worley. Lots of folks on here. Welcome to all of you as we count down the last 25 seconds or so to today's show number 539. Man, oh man.
Ah. Yeah.
Let's get this one off the dock.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You said you thought he was cute.
I did.
Ansgar Jordan, featured today on GovCup episode 11, the road to the Governor's Cup. And we'll have him on in a few minutes. So welcome to show number 539 for Friday, the 22nd of July, 22. 722.
Yeah, lots of twos.
Lots of twos. Deuce is wild. Mary Jude Szymanski saying hi. Ed Worley, cheers. Maura Stevens up in Halifax. Jay Rendell. Oh, Jay, back on. Tier DeYoung down in SoCal. Stingray up in sunny Seattle. Ken Saban, Toledo, Ohio, where it's unbelievably hot. Fritz Mueller in Miami. Everybody. Julia. Neil Collingridge has sent us some good info in.
Oh, good.
We've got info from Meg Eamon today.
Oh, good.
And we got a lot of show. I postponed Alistair's awesome anecdote till Tuesday because we got so much in the show, and I want to actually do a little work on his submission, his video. So we'll do that on Tuesday, not today. Warren Chaucer is watching. Hello, everybody. Welcome to show number 539. Delighted to have you all here. We got a terrific, another one of these kids. This is episode 11 of 12. We'll do the 12th one next Tuesday when I'm down in Newport Beach. So let's get to
California.
Newport Beach, California. Yes. Where did I say?
Newport Beach.
Oh, well, everybody knows Newport Beach is in California, don't
Not
they?
everybody.
As opposed to Newport, Rhode Island?
Newport.
Did you know there is a Newport Cows? Newport Isle of Wight? Right in the middle of the Isle of Wight, in fact. There's a town called Newport.
Newport on Australia of great.
There is a
sailing.
Newport. Yeah, there is a Newport. In Australia, there's Newports all over the place. Probably in Iowa, in the middle of Iowa, too. I call this the Flying 15 Fridays. We started on Tuesday. I did, the Tazar Tuesday, and this is the Flying 15 Friday to celebrate this class, the esteemed Flying 15 class. And it's a British boat, as most of you will know, that was designed by Uffa Fox, who died quite a while ago, but he was one of Britain's great sailors, Olympians, and so on. Mr. Fox designed it as a one-design racer and first built in 1948. You know who that is? Sailing, that's Uffa, Mr. Fox, crewing with His Royal Highness, Prince Philip.
Ah.
I think I spelled his name wrong. I think it's only with one L. I apologize to all the Brits. No, the graphics department
Yeah, the graphics department.
mucked up on that one again, Julia.
Uh-oh.
But it's Prince Philip on Cowslip. Cowslip, that was a clever boat name, given to His Majesty, His Royal Highness, rather, on the occasion of his wedding to then Princess Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
Fritz Mueller saying there's also a Newport in Belgium, spelled a little differently. The class was started with plans drawn up by Mr. Fox in 1947 in Cowes. One of the most well-known was Cowslip. I think that's spelled wrong in this. I didn't do that. It's not my graphic. Which was presented to the Duke to celebrate his marriage to Princess Elizabeth. Uffa Fox often sailed.
He looks very handsome. He also looks like somebody else we know now. And I can't think of who that would be.
It looks a little bit like Terry Anderlini, Commodore Anderlini, perhaps.
Yeah.
Now, this is a nice shot. This class is popular.
Yes.
In New Zealand as well as Australia, and a few in Canada and the U.S., but more in Canada, I suppose, and a lot in the U.K. This is at the Royal Acarana Yacht Club, and Sue Ellen Hurling, who is Live, Sail, Die, but this is just a fabulous photo.
It is.
I think of her at the Acarana. Royal Akarana Yacht Club in Nueva Zelanda in New Zealand. The home for the class in Auckland has been at RAYC since the late 80s. One keen Flying 15 sailor at our club is Bill Hursthouse, whom I don't know. He was fleet captain for the class. I mean, this is a typical spark plug, though. Gets things going, makes things happen in our sport. He got the class when they were racing out of the Tamaki Yacht Club. We talked about Tamaki Yacht Club over the Tamaki River on Tuesday, but that's east of Auckland. But had the launch in, Okahu Bay. Bill suggested to the Royal Akarana that the fleet should join with sailors becoming members. This gave the fleet a permanent home and a place to store boats, even rigged. Bill's days of sailing in the Flying 15 Championship, this was written, I think, in 2015, are long gone, as he has now reached his 100th birthday. I don't know if he's still around, if he's still alive, but what a great guy he was, or still is.
Yes.
David James saying, and he lived in Hong Kong for a while, there's a good Flying 15 fleet in Hong Kong. While I have you smart people from Stanford on here, Julia, you and David.
Yes.
I'll ask you, the question came up last night at the Stag Cruise Committee meeting here at St. Francis Yacht Club. And when they have visiting dignitaries come, as you know, the club's chorus, the SOTS, the Sons of the Seas, sing the national anthem of the countries that the visitors, that the VIPs from which they are. The Commodore of the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club is coming to the Stag Cruise this year in September. And they said, oh, well, we'll just play God Save the Queen, and we'll sing God Save the Queen. Exactly. I said, well, you can't possibly do that. Hong Kong is now part of the People's Republic. You got to sing the national anthem, China, and you got to do it in Mandarin.
Yeah, no.
So what do you and David James think? Is that correct or croutonic?
Maybe impossible.
I think our club course would have trouble. Not that I'm a part of it. Flying 15, what a terrific class. Yep, it's around the world, and we celebrate them today on Flying 15 Friday. Send us your nominations for other classes to nominate. While I have this shot over my shoulder, do you know, Julia, what day it is today in the U.S.?
No, but it looks
That's
like
your only clue.
reading a book.
No, close.
Hammocks.
It's, you think? If it's not reading the books, it's National Hammock Day. Now, there is a nautical connection here. Situated just in the middle of the summer, at least here in the U.S., in the Northern Hemisphere, National Hammock Day celebrates everything related to relaxation, summer breezes, and just hanging out.
But there are lots of hammocks and boats.
Coming to that, the invention of hammocks can be traced, I had no idea, back to the Central and South Americas at least 1,000 years ago. They seem to have been introduced to Christopher Columbus, the European, of course, by the Taino people of the Bahamas on his voyages to the New World, and he then brought the concept back for Europeans to enjoy. But wait, there's more. Hammocks were not originally created for relaxation and enjoyment as much as for protection from the elements. I guess they had some kind of a tent over it, or they were hung up high in the trees. But also from wild animals on the ground. Later in the 1600s, it was discovered that hammocks worked well for sleeping on ships, as it tended to reduce the amount of seasickness suffered by the sailors.
Right. Yeah, it's a quite comfortable way to...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When I sleep on a hammock...
On a ship, but you just stay upright.
Well, sort of. You swing around, too. You get a little motion with the ocean, so to speak.
Yeah, but not very much.
When I sleep on a hammock, my back is a wreck for the rest of that day and maybe the rest of the week.
Well, I haven't done it for a while.
Who would have known? Reduces the amount of seasickness. So we celebrate today the National Hammock Day. Sots, what a great idea. They must be a good bunch. Mark Curtis is saying, yeah, the Sons of the Sea. We have two choral groups. The men's group is the Sons of the Sea. The women's group is called...
High Seas.
The High, SEAS, the High Seas. Nice name. I was going to form a choral group among the past Commodores, the staff Commodores, and have them sing, since I'm producing the member show again this year for for the Stag Cruise, and I was going to ask the staff commodores to sing, and instead of calling them the Sots or the High Seas, we were going to call them the Low T's. They're all old. The Low T's. I'm not sure they would have thought too much.
No.
Mark Curtis, on a hammock, you need a good amount of sag and lay across on a diagonal. Yes, indeed. There were YouTube things galore, Mark, about that, and there were knots. There's a hammock knot. No joke. There's a hammock knot.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
We can't go into all that stuff. My beloved mother, is asking, do you remember your father's hammock joke? Yes, I do. And if I were to repeat that joke, Julia would give me a stern
I don't know what it is.
shake of the it's crude. Most of my dad's jokes were and are crude. He's still around. U.S. Navy ships used hammocks in World War II, Ed Worley is saying. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Salmon, we got a bunch of hammock experts on here. If slung fore and aft as the ship rolls, you won't roll with it. I slept in a hammock when I joined the Royal Navy in 1977.
Yes.
David James, back on Hong Kong, is saying he agrees with singing God Save the Queen. It will provoke an international incident, which will be entertaining. Well, I think having our Speaker of the House, if Nancy Pelosi, who's from San Francisco, lives up the hill here,
Right.
when she's not out at her winery and out by your place,
Mm-hmm.
in California, out in Napa. I see they're in Sonoma, aren't they, or they're in Napa? Doesn't matter. But she's going to provoke an international incident if she visits Taiwan here sometime soon. That's in the news.
Mm-hmm.
My mother, remember the Esmeralda's arrival into Newport Harbor? Yes, I do, Mom. That was a long time ago, and we had tall ships in Newport, Rhode Island in the 80s sometime. My mother must have come out to visit. My wife
Esmeralda's
and I.
been here.
Esmeralda is the tall ship of which country?
I want to say Spain, but it's not Spain.
It's not. It's a South American country.
Yeah.
One of the gang on here will. It's. I can't remember. It's Chilean,
Maybe Chile.
Ecuador, Argentina. Seems to me. Somebody will
Yeah.
Google that and put that up for us. But all the stories that and the jokes. Gordon Smith says Mexico. Peter Selwyn says Chile. Yeah, I think from memory it's Chile. And if Peter Selwyn has Googled that, my memory is still only slow, not failing completely. Replying to, is that where it's saying you got to roll when it comes? The motion of the ocean. That's another joke. National Hammock Day. Enjoy that, everybody, while you can.
Quick.
It's hot here in the States, at least as you heard from people in the Northeast and the Great Lakes. I'm not kidding. I've got a sweater on because it's so. The heat came on here in the Beach Street Yacht Club last night.
I know. It's cold.
It was cold. It's, you know what Mark Twain said.
What?
Well, you know what he said.
Oh, yes. The coldest was purportedly the coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco.
Well, and it's true. People come out here expecting it to be warm, and then the sea breeze comes in the afternoon off the 55-degree.
It's got to be blowing 37 tonight.
It is?
Yeah.
Wow.
5. But the other thing they expect are just incredulous about is that if you go 10 miles from here, it's 80 degrees.
Well, or 100 if you go into the Central Valley.
Yeah,
That's why we have such a strong sea breeze here, because the wind in the Central Valley in the middle of California, where they grow all the vegetables and some fruit, but mostly vegetables, it heats up to 100 plus Fahrenheit,
Yeah.
and the air temperature out here, where am I pointing? Out here behind me.
Yeah.
On the ocean is only 55 degrees, and when the air rises, it sucks
Yep.
the sea breeze off the ocean, as you sailors all know. Esmeralda had been a prison ship with a bad reputation, my mother is saying. This week we had over 30 and under 20 with thunderstorms. Emmett's been sailing John has been sailing in the UK
Oh, yeah.
Nationals. We're going to report on that in a sec. Yep, Chilean, tall ship. But back to this submission from Ted Ryman, which I thought, I also went back and I was going to do a This Day in History, Julia. On this day in history, 1926 was one of the hottest days in 1926, almost 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was 104 here, which is 40 degrees
Yeah.
Celsius, 104 Fahrenheit. It was 106 here. It was 106 there. It was 108 here.
Yeah.
Forget about Death Valley. I'm talking about in upstate New York,
Yeah.
in Illinois, and Wisconsin. Come on. It's
These-
summer.
And things are cyclical, like it or not.
It's summer. It gets hot in summer.
Yeah.
And things are cyclical. That's when you're not in a hammock, you roll. Well, okay, enough of all that. Thank you, Ted Ryman, for that. More good news from Clark. Clark Chapin is keeping us all posted. Those of you who are Fozy watching or friends of his on Facebook, Karen has, last night, I think, has been taken out of ICU and into a more or less normal room. She's sat up. She's had some ice water through her mouth rather than
strawberry milkshake.
I don't know about that quite yet, but Karen is progressing well. Our thoughts and prayers to Clark and to Karen as she's after that horrific car accident on the 4th of July. So Clark, keep it up. Karen, keep it up. As I said at the top of the show, we're going to postpone. I do the postponement signal here. 2 horns with the AP flag. I didn't put it in the... Okay, so we're going to postpone Alistair's thing. We got a lot of stuff, and I want to do a little editing on his video with these clever names of the boats, which is what his awesome Aussie anecdote is about this week. And then he doesn't have to do one next week because we won't have a show, as you know, Julia, on Friday.
Right.
I think the UK, John saying, has now probably had our 4 days of summer. Okay, so we'll do Alistair next Tuesday. That gets us to the proverbial starting line for today's show when we get into yacht racing in earnest. And I love this shot of the Star boats. You know where that was taken, Julia? I'll back that up before I go to the lower third.
Well, it's not Lago de Garda.
I'm not sure where that. I think it's not Nassau. It's not Miami.
No, it's
in Europe someplace. You can see German, Swiss, Italian. So no show on next Friday, John Emmett. That's right. Wow, I got a week off ahead of my. John thought we had no show today, and he, the trooper that he is, he rushed around and put a show together. Nonetheless,
well,
good man that he is. Okay, I'm tinkering here with one of my buttons. Okay. And now I've lost the slides momentarily. So we'll carry on and we'll get to the starting line. And John Emmett's usual report, which he filed, he says 2 hours before show, was more like 1 hour. It was more like 1 hour before we went there. But John nonetheless got through. And here's his report.
And all the Fozy, and it's great to be doing a little report from the Ilka Nationals. I'm really sorry, Tom, this report's going to come in about, 2 hours before the show, but it's been a busy week, as you can probably tell from behind me. In fact, I haven't even packed my boat up yet. Just been interviewing all the winners, and I can just say that the future of the class is really strong. We get people here from, I guess, sort of 14, 15 years old up to great grandmasters, all racing together. We've got the Ilka 4s, the Ilka 6s and the Ilka 7s all going. You see the girls in the background, just to prove that this is, as always, recorded live. So yeah, rushed off my feet, and just hopefully get to join you for this today's show. I even got a little bit confused what day it was when Tom asked me if I was recording something today. Next week is the Aero Youth Worlds, and I'm trying to get prepared for that. And unfortunately, the rib that I was meant to be using did get stolen this week, which is a bit unfortunate. So I'm so sorry for my friend who is now ribless. So I think I'm going to be rowing out to the club ribs and driving from Castle Cove to the academy every day. So I guess I better get a bit of a wriggle on. But yeah, you'll see me from an aero boat park next week. I don't know if I can say this with the current crowd or I'm going to get lynched. But hopefully join you later. Lots of sailing, and I wouldn't worry too much about the increased number of COVID cases, because things are definitely carrying on as normal. Have a great show. Hopefully catch you later.
Nice to hear.
Nice from John Emmett. But they've got record cases in the UK. China has apparently got lots of problems. Japan is interesting.
We had 280,000 cases in the U.S. last week.
Everybody we know's got it.
I know.
All of a sudden. So we're going to talk about that. Thanks, John Emmett, our coach. Now, what John doesn't know is, thanks to Neil Collingridge, this is from today. John was sailing out to the start of the last set of races for today's Ilka UK Nationals, and John doesn't know we have this. Gordon Smith saying, yep, a nice report again. Great setting, no dangerous deck chairs in view, or no dogs defecating on his set. But this from Neil, and Neil obviously in a rib. And John was not only racing, but he's also coaching, as he mentioned there in his video, his latest, what is she, Romanian, right?
Yep.
Latest mentee. Protege. You can see it was breezy and bumpy. Thanks, Neil Collingridge, for sending that along. And I asked John, how'd you do? And he said, well, it was a manic day. How'd you finish? Well, I was fifth, first in the Masters, meaning over 45, but main focus was coaching Ebru Bolat, Romania, who actually finished sixth, so she did really well. Really good way to watch her race. Packing tomorrow and then back to Weymouth. Still feeling very injured, but the taping is really helping, so I should have done it. Yeah, I should have done it a month ago, he says. So, John, I hope you're recovering. Congratulations on a good performance there at your ILCA UK Nationals, I think at Hayling Island. I think that's where they were this week. And he's packing up, heading back to Weymouth in the morning. Video was just me cruising to the start line. I do usually hike. I was going to make a snide comment. Look at that, he's not even hiking. But then I found out that from Neil Collingridge, that he was on the way to the starting line. So, yeah. Okay, Julia, the 22nd of July, 2021.
Oh.
Last year, this day. Here's your first and only clue. You know who that is? She's American.
Yes.
She's the head of the CDC.
I was going to say, yeah.
Our American Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Rochelle Walensky. She said a year ago today, the U.S. is, quote, at another pivotal point in this pandemic. Well, there's some alliteration, unquote. Says Dr. Walensky, as the Delta variant becomes dominant. Oh, we're at a pivotal point. Right. So what's happening today? Well, you have to go to Dr. John Campbell in the UK to find out what's really happening.
That's true.
Because it's running rampant. It's running rampant. Have a look.
The Delta variant is spreading.
This is her last year.
The Delta variant is spreading with incredible efficiency and now represents more than 83% of the virus circulating in the United States. Compared to the virus we had circulating initially in the United States at the start of the pandemic, the Delta variant is more aggressive and much more transmissible than previously circulating strains. It is one of the most infectious respiratory viruses we know of and that I have seen in my 20-year career. Please know
Okay, enough of that. We're going to get to Dr. Campbell now, but she goes on to say, if you get a vaccination, you won't get the virus. Now, I think to be fair, if you get a vaccination and a booster,
it would be
it's going to mitigate the thing. Are you going to get a fourth jab or not?
I still haven't decided. I don't really want to.
You had a bad reaction to the third.
I'll wait till October.
I had a doctor tell me this morning,
Yeah.
and not Dr. McIrvin, but we are going to get him back on the show, not Dr. Campbell. I had a doctor tell me this morning, you're going to get boosted, and you should get boosted every 3 or 4 months until they sort this out.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, let's listen now to what Dr. Campbell reported today, a year later, on his YouTube channel.
Well, a warm welcome to this talk. It's Friday, the 22nd of July. Now, it's impressive how BA5 is just running rampant through the world. It's just everywhere, and it's infecting huge numbers of people. It's outcompeting BA4, and of course, it's outcompeting the previous BA2s. Now, what does this tell us about future variants? Well, I don't think it tells us very much. It tells us there's big unknowns. I think what we can say is any future variants will probably not be more transmissible than these Omicron variants because they're already immensely transmissible, but it could mean that the next variant to become prolific is one which is able to escape the immunity generated by the Omicron variants and indeed the vaccines and all the previous waves. And to be fair, we did predict this some time ago, so there's nothing surprising, but let's look at some of the data. It's quite impressive, and there's a few interesting other bits and bobs to talk about as we go along today. Now, here's some data here. Now, this is CDC variant data. Now, BA5, wow, it's 78% basically now. BA4 already down to 12.8, something like 25% competitive advantage in terms of immune escape with BA5. BA2 12.1, which we did and ah about that. We weren't sure where that was going, but now clearly it's on the way down, being outcompeted clearly by BA5. BA2 is down to 0.6%. Impressively low numbers now. And the other ones, the BA1, the Delta and the others, just aren't registering on the CDC website at all. And when we have a look at this graphic really does sort of pack a bit of a punch, really. Let's just look at that now. Here we have it. So this is the nowcast from the CDC. So it's really quite mathematical. The reduction in BA2 there, the reduction in BA2 12.1 there, and BA5 here, it really is, you could almost draw these lines up with a ruler, couldn't you? It really is quite
Okay,
impressive.
I think enough of the data, but you get the idea that it's astonishing that how quickly BA5 has taken over and Delta is long gone. This is obviously much more transmissible, right, Julia? Much more transmissible. And this guy's been right all along, with one or two exceptions. Dr. John Campbell, it's why we watch him, has been right all along, as has Dr. McIrvin, who we've had on the show any number of times.
The one I'm worried about now is that the ones that say that the second boosters on have led to 78% long COVID.
Yeah, there's some reports out now, and they're starting to get a lot of attention in this country about boosters causing problems and people getting. But I think. Let's don't give any medical advice here because we're obviously not doctors, but this whole thing is a concern, and it's okay. Enough of this. We're not a medical show, but suffice to say, you got to make your own decisions. You got to do your own things. You got to take your own care and listen to people like Dr. Campbell on YouTube. His channel, Dr. John Campbell, is free and widely viewed. I think he has over now 2 million.
I think more than that, doesn't he?
I think over 2 million. Yeah, over 2 million viewers. And
he's very straightforward, very easy to understand. No jingo.
Yeah, and he's a PhD. He's actually a professor of nursing, right? Okay, Dr. John Campbell on YouTube. Now, there's a test. As we said, it seems like half the people we know have got it currently or have just gotten it or have gotten it for a second time. You know whose test that is, Julia? Look at the strong. I didn't know this. I was told this morning that when the T line is, the stronger the T line is, the stronger the case that you've got.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And that's a T line. And, I've tested myself a couple times, and you sit there and wait for 15 minutes because they tell you to wait. You get the C line, of course, and then the T line is the one that indicates that you are positive. And people tell me that if you are positive, that T, and strongly so, that T line pops right up. It's not even, not even a minute or two. So Emmett is saying he's pretty sure he had it for the Masters National, high temperature, sore throat, etc. Stingray, I mean, I've not had COVID yet. Seems that's becoming rare. Yes. First time you test positive, it could be very faint. John is saying, well, that image was sent to me this morning by someone who's got it close to me. Thank you, Meg Eamon, for that.
Wow.
That picture. And she and her boyfriend down in San Diego, along with a lot of other people in their orbit, seem to have gotten it in the past few days. You can add in your show, Meg says, that I ordered the free government-issued antigen tests, and their website says 48 hours turnaround. It's been 3 days, and I've not even had a confirmation that they've shipped. On the other hand, Amazon Prime was faster with 2 tests for $10. Amazon more efficient than the government. You think, Meg?
Yeah.
Amazon arrived same day, 3 hours later.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
And every time the federal government offers us those tests, I get however the max you can. I know you have gotten them and others. We've got a whole cabinet full of them here in the kitchen. Now here's an interesting thing, and I wonder if type O blood, O positive blood, has the greatest resistance to COVID effects, including the reactions to the jab, Pete Carrico is saying. I've heard that from other people. And I have type O blood. I thought I was O negative. Yeah, and I haven't had it. Maybe that's one of the reasons I haven't. I don't know. Hamish Ross. Hi, Hamish. Long time. We are all taking the purple these days. Stay safe, everybody. But that's from daughter Meg, and I know that they're telling us that they may start requiring indoor masking again here in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But people have just got to take responsibility for themselves, as we should have all been doing since the get-go. And I think people then take it a little more seriously.
Yeah.
It ain't going away anytime soon, that is for sure. Okay, we'll carry on here. Now, the Youth World Match Racing Championship is going on in France, and that is not in Paris, but in a place called Pornichet. And I thought that's a live shot from Paris, obviously. And I thank you for all of you who sent links for our live webcam, but I thought we'd go to, and by the way, one of the problems with the live shots is if your webcam is one of these that updates every 15 or 20 seconds and it's not live, it's not much fun for you. And here, and then people, if they can control them, and I can't, or I can't control them, not while we're in the show, but I go on YouTube and find webcams. This is a YouTube shot. In fact, you can see, I think, the live graphic up in the upper right corner.
Mm-hmm.
And there are webcams. It's astonishing. I had no idea there's webcams all over the world, live, and beautiful shots, including this one from, obviously,
including one at our yacht club, which doesn't always work.
Well, yeah, that's another issue. But I tried to look at that, as you know, Julie, before the show. So the Youth Worlds are going on in France, hence that shot of the Eiffel Tower in recognition of that. And they are going on. Here's a video from earlier, not very good quality, but still gives you a feel for what's going on in Pornichet, France, at the Youth Worlds match racing.
Day for us. It was kind of our first full day of racing. We've been doing a lot of sitting out, and so it was nice to go out and have 5 straight races early on in the morning. And it went well for us. We went 4-1, had a little bit of a mistake against the Danes, and we felt really good, and just happy to secure that 3rd seed. And going into the quarterfinals, all these teams are good. I think the round robin was pretty scrambled from what I thought was going to happen, and so it's just been great to see all these teams racing well. And we chose Riccardo from Italy to race against in the quarterfinals, and we're 1-1 right now. So he's been giving us a good run for our money, and we treat the score as 0-0, and we look forward to more racing tomorrow.
Commentary, shoreside commentary. They actually had some bleachers, some seats set up on shore, and I was sent a video by one of our FOSI, I'll mention in a moment, and there was only one person there, but the weather has been super hot, like most of Europe, or much of Europe has been, or cold and windy, and everything in between except snow. Emile Kiar, who was doing well early on, has been eliminated.
Why?
Oh,
sailing.
Sailing, yeah. He did. And it's been a tough competition. They are into the semifinals now, as of today.
Yeah, no, we've had a great time. This is, for the team as a whole, and for me, the first international match racing event that we've done. Yeah, we didn't get as many wins as maybe we would like, but we've had some really close races against, the guys at the top of their game here. And we've learned loads, and I think we're just taking from it as much as we can and trying to get as much racing done as we can as well. So yeah, it's been great.
J88s.
Really well. We won our first 3 races, lost our final one of the round robin against Emil, but made it through to the quarterfinals, which was our goal for this stage. And so we've completed 2 of the quarterfinal races, which didn't go our way, unfortunately. But yeah, no, all in all, a good day, and we're going to keep fighting tomorrow.
Yeah, David James. He's saying, why in the world would you race boats with asymmetricals, A sails? And exactly, it's better match racing with S sails, symmetrical sails. But that's just to give you a flavor. It's from a couple days ago, the quarterfinals. They're midway through the semis now. But fortunately, because that video was, as I said, it was not a world sailing video. It was from a local outfit. But see this photo?
Mm-hmm.
You know who that is?
Well, I know.
That's a Fosey on the left, and a Fosey in the middle, and a Fosey on the right.
Well,
Jeffrey on the right,
right.
Emil Kiar in the middle.
Oh, yes.
On the left is Oscar Smith. I think that's Gordon Smith's son.
Oh, is
Oscar, who's been on the show.
Nice.
Remember when they did that video with us?
I remember, but didn't remember what he looked like.
Yeah, well, it was hard to see him, and there was a dark, kind of dark and stormy video inside their home that evening. But what happened, I'm told, by Gordon, who kindly sent this picture and another one in a video, you'll see in a moment. He said that they've got a home in France, and he realized that the World Youth Match Racing Championship in Pornichet was near their home. And he said to Oscar, well, you want to go to this? We'll go have a look. And he said, well, okay, maybe, but is all that interesting? And he said, well, there's a Danish kid. Gordon told Oscar there's a Danish sailor sailing in it named Emil Kiar.
Mm-hmm.
So Oscar Googles Emil Kiar, and turns out they went to high school together or they went to school together for a while, and he knew him.
Oh, lovely.
And Harry was on the video with his Billie Eilish penis t-shirt. Yeah, Gordon Smith is saying. So Gordon Smith took this picture, and this is also Oscar with my favorite, Jeffrey's a favorite, of course, and a few others, but you know who that is? Remember this kid from Sweden? That's Marius Westerlund, who will also be next week down at Balboa Yacht Club.
Yeah.
And his Swedish team. And Gordon got a photo of Oscar with that team. And Marius, everybody agrees, is Mr. Personality. He's just a hoot. Mm-hmm. And that is Harry on the right. Is that another one of his sons, I guess?
Ah.
So thank you very much, Gordon. And then he also sent this video that he took with Jeffrey.
How's it going, everybody? Jeffrey Peterson, fans, Fosse, Sailing Illustrated fans. It's great to be here. I'm out here in Pornichet, France, where today we've got every condition out on the water. We got sun, we got rain, we got wind, we got light air, and it's been a fantastic whirlwind of a day and day 2 of World Match Racing Championship.
That's great.
Yeah, nice little hit, as we call it in the TV business. Mm-hmm. Stand up with Jeffrey. Everybody's talking about this penis t-shirt, the Billie Eilish, and I didn't want to dwell on that, Julie, because I knew you would shake your finger at Gordon or me or both of us. Now there's more. Thanks, Gordon Smith, for those photos and that video. These are some photos from Bruno Bouvry, from the regatta organizers. There are just a couple, 3 of them. This is from the quarterfinals as well yesterday. And Jeffrey struggled a bit, but he did finally beat the Italian, and he's now in the semis and leading his semi 2-1 over Timothy Rossi, rather. Timothy Paulet is from France. He's in the other semi against Marius. And Jeffrey against Timothy Rossi from Italia. And interesting, Marius and Jeffrey were both up 2-1 in their semi when the racing ended late this evening. I think they sailed till 6:37. In France. So we'll follow that.
And you can follow it on Match Racing.
What is that? Matchracingresults.com or whatever that is. I send the link around to some of the people.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody will put that in the comments, please.
I have it on my computer. I think it's just Match Racing.
I think it's matchracingresults.com. Somebody will put that in there for you. Yeah, Rossi. Oh, Rossi's also from France? Oh, he is. Thank you, Denise. Denise Peterson, Jeffrey's mom. As well as short visit to the Youth Match Racing World Championships. Yesterday at dinner, I watched the Imoca Charal sail past the beach I was dining on this morning, went to the Eric Taberley Museum. next to which is a boat park for the Class 40s, having a lovely visit to France. Viva la France! That's hence that, plus the F1 that's going on there. The Grand Prix is going on this weekend in France, hence our live shot from
nice.
Paris. You missed that, Julia?
Yeah.
The Youth Match Racing Worlds, Pornichet, France, wraps up tomorrow, Saturday. Then the kids are all on the plane, or those that are racing in the GovCup, and flying Sunday, to LAX, and then down to Newport Beach, where they get to practice on Monday and start racing again on Tuesday.
There's 16 of them or something?
I don't know how many are on the plane, but there's probably 3 or 4 teams worth, yeah.
Yeah.
And whether they're all on the same flight or not, I don't know, but there's not that many flights, I'm sure, headed in that direction, and we'll see. Okay. Let's get to our segment.
Clark has posted the URL for the...
Good. Thank you, Clark. They have a hard life, James Bland is saying. So I've shown you this, what we call the B bumper. We'll use this next week as well. Jeffrey and his winning team from last year, the Governor's Cup 2021. And of course, this year is the 56th edition, I think, of the oldest and most prestigious youth match racing trophy in the sport, down at Newport Beach at actually technically Corona del Mar, which is a neighborhood in Newport Beach. And there's Jeffrey and his team, which we've been using as a nice cover shot. Thank you, Mary Longpree, for your photos, and Tom Walker. We've now done fully 10 of these. Today is the 11th with this gentleman, Ansgar. It's Ansgar, it looks like, but it's a German name, Ansgar Jordan, from Coronado Yacht Club. Andy Rose and I caught up with him in Boston late last week for this interview. Well, welcome to the 11th. Well, we do have. Well, welcome to the 11th episode of Road to the 2022 Governor's Cup, the prestigious International Youth Match Racing Championship, hosted annually by the esteemed Balboa Yacht Club in Newport Beach, California. As always, we have GovCup guru, my dear friend Andy Rose, with us from Newport Beach, and today's featured skipper, Ansgar Jordan from San Diego, representing the Coronado Yacht Club. Welcome, gentlemen. Andy, over to you.
Well, Tom, thanks. 11th out of 12. We've almost finished this. I did think that we have Ansgar Jordan with us, who is a GovCup veteran. Welcome back, Ansgar.
Thank you.
I actually thought, Tom, that we had, for a change, given an international group of sailors, that we had an interviewee in the same time zone. But of course, Ansgar screwed that up. He's in Boston. What are you doing in Boston, Ansgar?
Right. I'm living in Boston this summer. I just graduated from Tufts University, and I'm interning here at the Data Science Center at Tufts.
All right. Sounds good. Well, let's talk about the Governor's Cup. So, in the interest of hard-hitting journalism, I'm going to ask you, I know you were a little bit disappointed in last year in the GovCup and the Worlds. But you seem very confident here. I think that extra year of experience in the boats isn't going to hurt, huh?
I think it makes a big difference. You don't want it to make a difference. You want to be able to go right in and just go, but it just does. There's something about knowing the boats, knowing the venue, even how long it takes to go from, the tow out, that hour of time that you have. Knowing how to sort of mentally go through that makes a big difference, I think, in how you approach the sailing.
Yeah, I forget who it was, Tom, but we were talking to somebody about that psychology, and, psychology is so much a part of the sport in general, but to me, even more so in match racing.
Absolutely.
It's more intense. And, I said that when I sailed the America's Cup in Newport, the tow was 2.5 hours, so I don't feel sorry for you at all. But I do remember how nervous, everyone gets. I don't know about you, but I've done better if I'm nervous. If I'm happy, my mother always knew I was going to get pounded.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's you go out there and you're nervous before the first race, and I think that's in every type of sailing. It's like that. But once the first wave hits you, once you go out there, do a few jobs, and once the horn goes, it's like you're just into it, and there's no room for being nervous because
till the next race when you get to be nervous before that one. But
exactly.
You have a new crew this year from last year. You're
correct
saying that Sonia, your brother, has aged out.
Correct.
So who is sailing with you this year?
Yeah, so I'm sailing with two sailors from Tufts, actually. Sam Merson is going to be on main and kite. He was also class of 22, so he graduated this year with a degree in mechanical engineering. Really good sailor, sailed on the 49er ODP team for a while. And he's also from San Diego, actually. And then I was lucky enough to get Jack Flores, who last year was on the podium on the bow with Morgan Pinckney, and who also sailed with me during the intercollegiate match racing in New England. We didn't make it to nationals, but excellent sailor, best attitude ever. And he also won the Sportsmanship Award at the Rose Cup, and I'm not surprised that he did.
Yeah, he was a semifinalist in the Rose Cup, I believe. So
Correct.
You've got, it sounds like you've got a high-powered crew. Well, the next part of this is sort of like the old, before your time, but maybe your parents will remember that this is your life show. So
Right.
we'll go through a few slides here and tell everybody about your life.
Yeah, so this is when I started sailing. I started at the Mission Bay Yacht Club in San Diego. This is me and my first Sabbath that I had. I do remember the Sabbath was incredibly heavy. It was like 50 pounds heavier than everyone else's for some reason. We never found out why, but that was me out there. Probably during the summer camp or something.
How old?
I believe I was 6 years old.
Terrific.
You're the second, actually, I should point out to our East Coast and worldwide audience here that this is you and Morgan Pinckney grew up sailing Sabbaths, which of course you can't see it in this picture, but has a lee board. So I told Morgan, Ansgar, that next year we're going to build 22-foot Sabbaths for the Governor's Cup, and you guys will crush everybody.
Oh boy. That's I don't know exactly how I feel about that, but
don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
How about this shot in San Diego? Is that the Rose Cup? What was that?
Correct. That was the Rose Cup in 2019, or the U.S. Youth Match Racing Championship, which this year was held at ABYC in Long Beach. And we had a good round robin in this regatta. I think we went like 8-1, and then we got knocked out in the quarterfinals. So it was one of those stories. And I sailed with the same people that I sailed the Rose Cup.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of the quarterfinal setup, frankly. I really like what we do, which is 2 complete round robins. So you get 22 races. And so, a couple bad races is no big deal. You probably still make the semis. What was that person doing up the mast? That was the one question I had.
That was me. I was just climbing up the mast because I wanted to.
You weren't wind checking?
No, there were no halyards up there. There was absolutely no reason to go up the mast except that I saw the camera pointed at the boat, and I thought
that's awesome. But they will kick you out of the Skippers Union. Skippers and tacticians should never be seen up the mast.
Yeah, we televised that series, didn't we, Andy? That was GovCup.
We did.
And your crew there. And let's go forward to collegiate sailing. This is Tufts, obviously.
Yeah, that was at the 2019. So a lot of pictures from 2019 here. Intercollegiate Match Racing Championships, which were held in Marblehead. I believe this was a race actually against Eckerd College. And you see that we're on port, and we just about managed to cross the bow on the jibe, and then was like home free to the finish. So this was a jibe out of downwind jail, and you can see my reaction because we missed him by inches. And we're all bundled up because this regatta was in November in Marblehead.
It's like Australia 2 and Liberty, last race of the America's Cup.
Yeah. This picture was from just a few months ago. This is in the 2022 New England dinghy championships, sailing a 420 there on the Charles River with my crew, Ann Sheridan, who was actually voted All-American honorable mention, which well-deserved. And we didn't end up doing very well at that regatta, but it was still enough to get us to nationals.
And then this is nationals. Did you tell us?
That is nationals, yeah. So this was actually after we won a race at nationals in the semifinals, not in the finals. We won, I believe, 2 races in the semifinals and 1 race in the finals. And this was on the second day of the semifinals, coming in after that race win, and with my same crew, and in New Orleans, Louisiana, at the Southern Yacht Club.
So I think I understand you did made some Tufts history.
Yeah, we it was the first time the second time in 20 years, the other time being in 2014, that Tufts achieved a single digit finish, or I believe a top 10 finish at the Intercollegiate Nationals. Now, if you look at Tufts' history, that's what we're aiming for. Obviously, is winning nationals, but that hasn't happened, unfortunately, in the last 20 years. But it was still is a very good performance. We were very happy with it.
Tom, who are we talking to? I guess we better ask you, since you were down there. Did you see the alligator at the yacht club?
Yeah, I think it was somebody else who was there at Collegiate Nationals, and was it
Porter Cavley?
Porter Cavley, and I asked him if he was there when the alligator climbed up on the front lawn. He said, "Oh yeah, we were there, but we went up on the deck of the clubhouse at Southern Yacht Club and looked down." Well, and Andy and I were, I didn't show the picture. Maybe I will here and during when we air this. But all the kids, the junior sailors, were down there petting the alligator and some of the others, but. I think the club manager already, or the clubhouse manager, the maintenance guy, had already put a noose around the snout of the alligator.
Tom, when Porter first said that, I thought it was just after a 4 a.m. deal drinking Sazeracs, and he was hallucinating about or absinthe, hallucinating about the alligator.
Only you and Julia Vedekant know about Sazerac, so that's
there you go.
Okay, let's move on, shall we, to this photo, which is this one, which is from Governor's Cup 2021. Nice shot.
Yeah, that was the infamous coming back on starboard. You always felt like you're about to delaminate the boat. I think the other skippers that were there last year can speak to that. But yeah, that was a windy event. We were pretty light. I think we were something like 480 with just our three guys. But it was a lot of fun. It was the most fun regatta that I've ever done, and I'm so happy to be back this year. So excited.
Let's talk about that for a second. That was, I hate to say it, because in the brochures and in our publicity, we use shots from last year a lot.
Right.
And in 2018 when it also blew. But that isn't, as you know, a typical condition on Newport Beach. You had, though, as I recall, are you comfortable sailing the boats in lighter air? Nobody was comfortable with that. Nobody had done it before.
Yeah, no, I think, I was lucky enough to be part of the Youth Worlds last year, and most of those days were spent in lighter air. We actually had a day of no sailing, which I didn't think was possible in Southern California. But I'm very comfortable sailing the boats in lighter air. There's a lot more finesse required.
Right.
I think the one place that you can get a lot of, I think the one place where you can underratedly make a lot of gains is on your exit angle from the windward mark. That was always something I was talking with my kite trimmer about. If you nailed that, you can gain a boat length, and we know how much of a difference that can make on a downwind, whether you're 3 boat lengths ahead or just 2. But yeah, very comfortable sailing boats in lighter air.
The boats were designed to sail well in that, and they do. So you can have a real race in 5 knots of breeze. We certainly hope we don't have a lot of races in 5 knots, but it's certainly possible, and they're a fair boat. So Ansgar, I'm more excited about this event. I think the competition is more evenly matched. Quite often we'll have 3 or 4 sailors who are just a notch above. I don't think that's the case here. And it'll be fascinating to see the Kiwis and Aussies and Robbie King from the UK back after 2 years of COVID-influenced events. They can now be here, and I think everyone's pleased to see that. But the Americans have their work cut out for them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these guys down under or also in the UK have been just working their tails off, and we're understandably, I think, very disappointed not to be able to take part last year, but they're going to come out swinging, and got to be ready for that.
Hey, guys, a couple more slides here. Ansgar, you just graduated from Tufts in May, and let me read something I found online. 3 weeks ago, you said, this was in May, I graduated magna cum laude from Tufts University with a BS in data science and minors in engineering management and mathematics. Bravo, Zulu. To you. After graduation, I competed at the College Sailing National Championship, as we just discussed, finishing 5th in my division and helping Tufts achieve a 9th place overall finish, which we said was some kind of a major achievement for Tufts University, which is, had good sailing teams in the past, but not in the recent past. What about this? What about graduating?
Yeah, just excited to have done it. Excited to have done it in 3.5 years also instead of 4. I took the fall of 2020 off and actually lived in Munich, Germany for a while. So, I took 1 or 2 summer classes, but certainly not a full semester. So that was good. And also being able to graduate with the same people that I started out in college with was pretty special. And
then this summer, you're interning. That's why we find you in Boston, not in SoCal, as we talked at the top of the interview. I look forward, you said,
Correct.
I look forward to continued learning this summer as an intern at the Tufts Data Intensive Study Center, DISC, which is the same as our title sponsor for GovCup.
Correct.
I will be working on it, but not the same company. I will be working on a collaborative project between the Tufts School of Medicine and the School of Electrical Engineering. I'm excited to see what the future will bring. What is the future for you?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to stay in Boston. I like the city. I like the city a lot. It seems weird from somebody coming from SoCal to say they don't want to go back. But it's not that I don't want to go back. It's just right now it's, I think, career-wise for me, more exciting to stay here. And I'm hoping to take the project I have now, which is an RNA sequencing project, to go from there and enter the biotech industry, which in Boston is unrivaled.
Andrew, over to you for a couple final questions.
Well, we've also probably got, if you note, I will note it a bit on the Monday night dinner, which I hope you're ready for. But
absolutely,
we probably have
Can't
the
wait.
most. Tom, in looking at the academic credentials of all these sailors, we probably have the most intellectual group we've ever had. So I'll be, thank God I went to a great school as opposed to just a good school. Thank God I went to Stanford so I can keep up with you guys. Although I have no idea still after your explanations there of exactly what you're doing, but that's okay.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you very much. I really look forward to seeing you as all the BYC volunteers and people that put this thing on. It should be an incredible event.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I'm super excited. Can't wait to get back out there.
We'll see you in just a few days at Balboa Yacht Club.
Awesome.
Thanks, gentlemen. Ciao.
Thanks,
Bye.
Tom.
Ciao for now. Now, there's another bright kid.
Oh, yes.
He's doing something with sequencing of RNA, right? Not DNA, RNA. And of course, you know what all these vaccines are RNA, mRNA vaccines. Stanford, everybody's saying Stanford. Who? That's James Bland. Julia, what about this Stanford? You guys from Stanford, you, David James, Andy, your brains are all wired a megahertz or two faster than the rest of us who went to public school.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
You sure talk about it a lot.
Well, it's nice to talk about.
Well, it is indeed. Yeah, he's David Morse saying, Richard Morse, with those credentials, the future is bright. And indeed it is. Ansgar Stingray saying, another very impressive guy, smart cookie. These kids are all so cool. And the personalities are, of course, are quite different, as we know, but they're all bright. And I don't know if that's because you have to be bright to sail, or if sailing makes you bright, or a little of both.
Yeah.
Probably a little of both.
This conversation about Stanford, in the East Coast, if you say Stanford, they think it's Massachusetts.
Stanford, Connecticut.
Connecticut, right.
Stanford, Connecticut.
Stanford.
Well, this is Stanford.
I know, but
as you know.
I know.
Okay, let's carry on. No more Stanford talk here. From somebody who went to Michigan, but I see Fritz Mueller also went to Tufts. He says he's a jumbo, it's the Tufts jumbos, like the Michigan Wolverines, like the Stanford. What are you guys? You used to be the Indians.
The Cardinal.
And then the Sandy.
Cardinal.
But when were you the Trees? I thought you were the Trees for a while. You might mascot. Be a good university, but your mascots are crappy.
Mascot is true. Oh, that's because somebody made a mistake of giving up Prince Lightfoot.
Who's Prince Lightfoot?
Stanford Indian, who was real Indian, who was
Native American,
who taught everybody to respect that culture for 25 years.
Well, it wasn't politically correct to celebrate the Native Americans. It's ridiculous. I think we should celebrate almost every state in the Union is named after the local Native American tribe.
Yeah.
Or some word that is derived from the language of that tribe.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I learned a lot from him.
I've learned a lot from all of our FOSI and from you, Julia. Thank you very much for your patience. And Andy Rose and these kids, exactly. I can't say enough. TV schedule next week. We start, as Andy was saying, the Meet the Teams. It's a live broadcast Monday night at 8 p.m. Pacific. All of the teams get up there, skippers and crews, gently roasted by Andy. I'm producing and switching that show, hosting it, as I am all the onshore shows next week. Wednesday.
I just interrupt to say, if you can't watch anything else, watch that. Because
the Monday
night, because it really does give a real flavor of what's going on. And if you do watch it, you'll be much more likely to watch something else later in the week.
Well, I think that's true, because again, that's why these Road to the GovCups are so much fun. You learn a lot about the kids and the teams. Pre-race shows Wednesday through Saturday at 0900, Friday, and again with interviews, with the morning briefing by the race officer and by the umpires. Reviews of the racing rules and incidents from the day before with the umpires and the kids coming up on a whiteboard. It really is quite interactive and a lot of fun, quite informative. And live racing Friday and Saturday at 11:30 in the morning. End of the rounds robin and the semifinals start on Friday. Friday night, we have a press conference with the 4 semifinalist skippers. And then Saturday, the end of the semis and the finals starting again at 11:30 with the press conference and the awards prize giving live also on TV at approximately 4. Well, we'll go live at 4:30 and hopefully we will be on the air then. Hope you can join us. If you can't, you can watch it in replay, and we'll be co-streaming it both to the BYC GovCup Facebook page and to Balboa Yacht Club's YouTube channel, and maybe even to one of these channels. We haven't quite decided yet. That's at the esteemed Balboa Yacht Club, Corona Del Mar down in Newport Beach. The 55th Governor's Cup at Balboa Yacht Club next week, the 25th of July through the 30th. We will do our regular TE Live next Tuesday from Balboa Yacht Club, but no show on Friday, as I'll be out on the water doing commentary with Andy. Let's see, I had a comment on here from I see Greg Newman, who is our bosun. He takes care of, does a superb job of his team. He's saying no mass climbing, please, of our GovCup 22s. And back and forth about Stanford, Michigan. Yeah, Clark, I wonder if Stanford's going to join the Big Ten. All the other good schools in the Pac-12 are.
I think, but did you know that the
Pac-12 and the Big 12.
I know, but the regents of the University of California are looking into the legality of that contract with the Big Ten, because nobody even told them they were thinking about it.
Follow the money. Follow it. That's just because Governor Newsom is complaining about it. Let's just carry on with sailing and not talk about these silly schools on the West Coast. I mean, the Big Ten, Michigan, it's a good conference, Julia.
It is a good conference. It is. I'm not denying that.
And you have the Big Ten channel on your television.
I do.
Your satellite TV upstairs. Okay, that's enough for you sailing. Let's get to the America's Cup, a little AC-37 Cup date. Still no announcement as we expect, and I've now added a question mark to this lower third, K-Challenge. The K-Challenge announcement, is it, I said imminent, and then I've added a question mark now, because there's starting to be some feedback, Julie, that it's not going to happen.
Really?
Yeah, I'm starting to hear from some people. I still think it's going to happen. There is some real back and forth going on behind the scenes with the other teams, and we shall see. But they don't have a snowball's chance of being successful, but it'd be nice to have a French team in the event. I hope they make it. I hope they find the money. I hope they do announce in the next week before the final deadline, as Clark Chapin says, in the words of Cuba Gooding Jr. in the movie Jerry Maguire, show me the money.
Right.
Okay. So that's what's going on in the America's Cup, except that this is just out. You know what that is? This was tweeted today, or maybe
not really
in the last 24 hours, by the America's Cup Event Authority. This is the first AC40 nearing completion. Where are they building these? In China? Are they building these in New Zealand? I think they're building these in China. So here, these are the boats being used in the Women's America's Cup, the Youth America's Cup. Yeah, Ed Worley knew it was an AC40. And each of the teams will get one of these to use as a training boat. And the first one is nearing completion. Sounds like a little Chinese music.
Yeah. Great lines.
Okay, so that's the America's Cup news. The AC40, the first one, is about to be popped out of the mold. Now let's go to Sail GP. Do you know where that is, Julia?
No, I should.
That's the Ho.
Heave ho?
And Heave Ho. That's the Ho in Plymouth.
Oh, I was going to say England, but I wouldn't have said Plymouth.
That's in Plymouth, England, which is where the third event of Sail GP Season 3 is taking place next weekend. Great Britain Sail Grand Prix Plymouth. Britain's Ocean City will host the third event as the most competitive racing on water returns to Plymouth next weekend, 30-31 of July.
We can't wait to be racing here on Plymouth Sound, Britain's first national marine park. Plymouth's a beautiful area and we all want to protect it. If you're watching from the water, please make sure you act responsibly. There are numerous protected anchoring zones on the Plymouth Sound where enormous efforts are being made to restore our seagrass. So watch out for these and anchor in the designated zones. For more information on this, just head to sailgp.com. We can't wait to race on home waters. So come down to Plymouth for the weekend, be responsible, but have an awesome time.
Hannah Mills, the audio engineer on that video, needs to balance the music a little bit better with her.
Yeah, she did a nice job.
Voiceover. She does a terrific job. She's a great sailor and a great personality and a great contributor to and promoter of our sport. So, speaking of Hannah, there's a nice article out on the Sail GP website. Hannah Mills, quote, I hope Sail, this is obviously more promo for the event next weekend. I quote, I hope Sail GP will evolve into a 50-50 mixed male and female league. Now, does that mean she thinks there should be a women's event separate from the men's event?
No, mixed.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
And I agree with her.
I know you do agree with her. So here she is with Ben's team. She's on leave right now, but we'll talk about that in a sec. Quote, my vision is definitely one league with mixed boats, she said.
Mm-hmm.
Sailing lends itself to mixed-gender teams, Mills said, adding that there are some roles on board, specifically the driver, flight controller, and wing trimmer, where the, quote, physical barrier isn't a problem, unquote. She continues to say there's no reason that once the female athletes have been given the time on board and got the skills that they can't compete with the guys for these roles, unquote. She added that a mixed league would, quote, inspire so many girls and boys to look up to what's going on in Sail GP and think slightly differently about men and women, unquote.
I agree with that totally.
You do?
Yeah.
No quotas?
No.
I thought you didn't like quotas. She's calling for the boats to be 50-50 male-female.
I would just leave it open to the best and not worry about whether they're men or women.
Okay, so you don't agree with her.
Well, quotas, I don't like quotas, but there's no reason not to.
James Bland, so give the women all the plum jobs while the meatheads do all the hard labor. Stingray, I forget there are no female helms in the coming GovCup. I think there are none this year. There have been in the past. No reason why there can't be. But this goes on because then Hannah, who again is just a terrific person, she's currently sitting out most of the season due to pregnancy, and her temporary absence from an onboard position is opening the door to more female athletes joining the team, because there's a quota, Julia. Hannah Diamond and Nikki Boniface entered the league in season 3 and are currently taking on the strategist role on Sir Ben's boat in rotation. Quote, being pregnant means I can't be on the boat, but it also means we've got a really good opportunity to get more amazingly talented female sailors on board as part of the team. Again, because she's pregnant. Now, Julia?
I think that's perfectly reasonable.
But there's a quota. You don't like quotas.
I don't.
I could have made this the Corrector Crutonic segment, but I didn't, because I didn't want to put anybody, including you, on the spot. She is with Ben here in this photo and looking ahead to the Great Britain Sail Grand Prix in Plymouth next week. Mills said the home support is certain to, quote, up the ante and add to the excitement, unquote. She goes on to say, we can't wait for the home support and for people to be cheering and getting behind us, unquote. She said, Ben, quote, hasn't raced in the UK for 5 or 6 years. I didn't know that. So he'll be absolutely buzzing.
Oh, that'd be great.
Nice stuff. And this, I'll roll right into this, and then we can talk some more about SailGP. This is a commercial produced by Rolex that is, I think, very impressive indeed. Have a look.
They're not pilots, although they know a thing or two about taming gravity with just the power of the wind. They're not scientists, although they're quite familiar with the physics of the elements, the mathematics of speed, and the chemistry on board. They're not pioneers, although they keep field testing the finest instruments craftsmanship can provide, and pushing the limits of an art that took 6,000 years to perfect. They're not dreamers, except for their profound belief that whoever doesn't fall can fly. Welcome to the SailGP Global Championship.
Now, is that an impressive commercial?
Yep, love it.
For a number of reasons, Julie, because they didn't call them. They said they're not pilots.
Yeah.
They're skippers. They're sailors. Bravo Zulu, Rolex. They're sailors. They're skippers.
Yep.
Very classy ad, Ed Worley is saying. Indeed.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, what's all this back and forth about female crews and my mother, Janice Davis, saying I crewed while pregnant? My mother was pregnant nonstop for 10 years. I'm not kidding. She had 7 kids in 10 years, starting with me, and my youngest brother, who was kid number 7, was born less than 10 years after I. 9 years and 10 months. She sailed a lot, probably, as pregnant.
She did. But she probably wasn't sailing huge boats.
Well, the dinghies, but sometimes dinghies are more, not sometimes, often more challenging than big boats.
That's really true.
Sit on a big boat on the side. Mary Longpree, wow, wonderful Rolex commercial. Nice ad, Gordon Smith is agreeing. Mark Curtis, that's a great bit of video. I'm going to play that, bloody well, play that again, Julia. Let's look at it one more time.
Okay, it was really good.
They're
and not
not
because
pilots,
Rolex is sponsoring.
although they know a thing or two about taming gravity with just the power of the wind. They're not scientists, although they're quite familiar with the physics of the elements, the mathematics of speed, and the chemistry on board. They're not pioneers, although they keep field testing the finest instruments craftsmanship can provide, and pushing the limits of an art that took 6,000 years to perfect. They're not dreamers, except for their profound belief that whoever doesn't fall can fly. Welcome to the SailGP Global Championship.
An art that took 6,000 years to perfect. Talking about the Phoenicians, they're talking about, long time ago. What? I mean, the Phoenicians weren't even that long ago, but what a fantastic ad.
It is.
Now, you won't have seen that many other plays. Not on the SailGP YouTube channel. It's on the Rolex YouTube channel. And because some of our FOSI are so clever, notably Stingray. I don't think he sent me the link, but it's because of you all sending me links that I can dig stuff up like that for you. And thank you very much. And congratulations, Rolex and SailGP. What a great set is. So their season 3 is underway. As you know, this will be the 3rd event. The standings, Tommy Slingsby leading with 20 points over Canada. Oh, Canada. Phil Robertson, the journeyman, who went from China to Spain to now Canada, in second place, tied with Sir Ben on 17 points. And then I kind of lost track of Pete Burling, Blair Tuke, and Team New Zealand. They're in fourth place now on 12, so they're starting to learn these boats. Tied with Nikolai Sehested from Denmark, ahead of France, U.S. Jimmy Spithill better up his game here. And then Spain and the new team, Switzerland. Spain and Switzerland are really new teams, so you would expect them not to be doing quite as well, perhaps, as some of the others. That is 30th through the 31st next weekend, the GBR Sail GP, Sail Grand Prix in Plymouth, up there on the Hoe, which is a nice place to watch a race. Whether you go there with your boat, as Hannah Mills was encouraging in that earlier video, but watching from up on the Hoe is wonderful. It's a nice place. Plymouth's a nice town. I like it a lot. We've done a couple of events there and had good fun there. Greetings from Canada, Greg Phillips is saying today. John Emmett, and where is Spain? Oh, there's the results. We showed you all those. Hi, Aaron Goldwater. Thanks for checking in. I haven't seen Aaron on here in a while. Paul Homchick, hire that voiceover actor. Yes, I wonder who that was.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
I like how the skippers lean into the turns on that video. Nice stuff. Okay, Bravo Zulu. Thank you again to a couple of folks who've been keeping me posted on this. We told you about this regatta on Lake Garda, another terrific event on Lake Garda. We told you about this a week or two ago. It was happening. Well, it has happened. It wrapped today on Friday the 22nd, and these, of course, are the 18-footers, skiffs, the Ideens. And this is the Mark Foy European Championship. Mark Foy must be a brand that's the sponsor. It's been going on on Lake Garda this week, and the overall results are in. It was an Australian 1-2 at the Mark Foy Europeans, Lazarus Capital Partners, an Australian team, and the Rag and Famish Hotel, the Raggers, in the first two overall positions. The best Europeans were the Germans on Black Knight, down on third place overall. Here's a video from today. So thanks to David Pricey Price and Christian, and I don't know if Olivia is there, but Harry Price is sailing in this, finished second. He's the hotel. Rag and Famish. And beautiful video produced by this Circolovela Arco. They're in Trentino on Garda. Beautiful stuff.
Really beautiful.
There's the Rag. Posies finishing second.
Yeah.
A Mark Foy start or a pursuit race where boats are allocated a start time based on their club handicap. The slower boats set off first, and the faster boats try to chase them down. Okay. Thank you for that, Peter Selwyn. Yeah, I didn't know who Mark Foy or why. I'm sure they're starting all together. I assume. I don't know. Awesome. Very nice. Peter Taylor saying. Thanks, Peter. Checking in from New York City.
Here it is. Mark Foy was a wealthy Sydney realtor, father of the 18s.
Retailer, I guess.
A retailer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Father of the. Okay. So they've named the Europeans after him, and Mark Foy must have also invented what we call, at least for Down Under and in New Zealand, what we call a pursuit race. Mm-hmm. There are a fair number of pursuit races, especially in the offshore world here, notably the San Diego Yacht Club's Hot Rum Series in late November, early December on 3 different Saturdays, I guess. It used to be Sundays. where the slower boats, the lower rated boats, start out first, and the faster boats then start in pursuit later on, sometimes as much starting as an hour later. And thereafter, whoever wins. Whoever finishes first, finishes first. I could have done correct or Crutonic with this. This is a caption contest. A couple of pictures that I saw. I have no idea who these guys are, but there was a lot of wind. These boats are extremely difficult to sail, as you all know. And there's a conversation going on between one of the crew.
Yeah.
Up there on the
one on and one
one in the water. So bravo Zulu. There's the winners and the runners up are Fozy on the left there. Lazarus, Capital Partners from Australia. I don't know those gentlemen, but the Rag and Famish Hotel in second place, Harry Price, Josh McKnight, and Harry Hall, another match racer.
Mm.
Bravo Zulu to them, and the Germans Black Knight in third.
Heinrich von Bayern.
Yeah, that's a good name.
Yeah.
Heinrich von Bayern. 18-foot skiff, Mark IV Europeans at Lake Garda. Wrapped up today. Make plans. Who is this crouton?
I think we're going to have to take him off.
Them.
Yeah.
Got to block whoever saw Amir Khan. They're trying to get us to buy Bitcoin. Well, I guess we're more famous now. When people are coming onto our streams, Julia, they figure we've got smart, impressive, affluent people on here, I guess. That gets us to the D block. And another one of our favorite characters, voiceover or otherwise. And we have a couple funnies for you. People are asking why I didn't do road. I'm trying to get the Australia guys back on, and I've been so busy with GovCup. Next week I'm tied up. The week after that, we'll get Andrew McIrvin on. We'll cover the A2K race and some video from that and so on. Because the video, I agree, Gordon Smith, the video was cool. And some other events that we have, like the Newport, the Bayview Detroit to Mackinac race, which was quite good. And an interesting result. But let's get to some funnies here. Which would you abstain from? Women or wine? Excuse me. The guy says, I need to know the year. Peter Stevenson from Oz sent, Peter, I hope you're doing better. You've had a bout. He's a bit under the weather. The Magnetic Island Race Week starts in a month. I don't know what that means. Julia, your watch is ringing.
I know.
You've got another boyfriend calling you as usual. Men, if you're over 50, leave the young girls alone and find a woman who understands. I have an urgent business to confirm with you. Press 1. Julia, why are you answering your watch in the middle of
I turned it off.
In the middle of the show.
Urgent business.
Yeah, it's a spam call. Men, if you are over 50, leave the young girls alone and find a woman who understands the signs of a stroke.
I don't think that's so funny.
You don't? I guess not. That's sent by Sangmeister, who has kind of a warped sense of humor sometimes. But he is over 50, I'll give him that. Now, this one was a jab at me, but it's funny. So how long have you been playing the guitar? You know who sent that? Yes. Not my mother. Stingray. Thank you, Stingray. That's a clever one. How long have you been playing the guitar?
And who's winning? Yeah.
Finally, my favorite, goes on a vegan diet. He eats 3 vegans a day and feels fantastic. I like that. What are the comments? A lot of comments. Now, that is good advice, James Bland. James, you got to come on the show and tell us about your dinghy building project. We're all watching it. You're making great progress. In the heat, he says he can only work on it till 10 in the morning. It's so hot down in Austin, Texas. He can't be out varnishing and whatever else he's doing on there. Magnetic Island Race Week is a great race just after Hamilton Island Race Week. Mary Longpree, who often goes down there, I've covered that race also while in Oz. Great photographer that she is. She will be with us next week, I think, at the Governor's Cup. She is a magnificent snapper.
Yes.
Okay, that's about it for us, Julia. We're to the finish line. Another great show and a great bunch of Fozy on as we have one last look at Paris. There's much going on in France. including the Tour de France. Aren't they about back to Paris? Didn't one of you say?
They're supposedly in Paris this weekend.
Oops, I turned your mic off in your watch. Sorry, say again.
They're theoretically in Paris this weekend.
Well, I don't think theoretically. I think they are, right?
Yeah.
One of the comments. Yep, Mary says, yes, for sure. She'll be at GovCup next weekend. And James Bland is saying, yep, we'll make that happen. Good. I hope you're taking lots of photos and videos, James, because we'd love to see the progress. I mean, we've been following it in images on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
A piece of furniture.
It's looking more and more like a piece of furniture with each passing day. We're to the finish line. Julia, you're a witness.
Yes. Please take the opportunity to like, follow, and share. They all help, but sharing helps most. Just share it to your friends.
Does indeed. And of course, comments are welcome too, even if you're watching a replay, as hundreds, if not thousands of you do each show. Thank you very much for your support on Patreon. Patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated, and give us a few bucks a month to help keep us on the air, because it is viewer supported media. And we also get a lot of support from these folks who give us video and images, lend us anyway, and audio for this show. Julia, final thoughts?
No, I don't. I'm just hoping the complicated world gets a little bit simpler.
Not going to anytime soon. It's going to be a tough period. We're going into, if we're not already in a recession, but the good news is we got a lot of smart Fozy on here and a great community of friends. Ed Worley, Jared DeYoung, Jody Shields, Tom. I'll be in Airlie Beach for the race week in 2 weeks. If you want to, hey, that would be great, Jody. 2 weeks time. I know Mary would appreciate that too, because she's missing it. She loves to get down there. Thanks, Patrick Dyer, Gordon Smith, and thanks, Gordon, for your submissions. John Emmett, as always, to yours for yours as well. Julia, thank you, dear heart, for all you do to keep us on the air and smiling through what are interesting and challenging times.
We live in interesting times.
I'd rather live in a little less interesting time.
I know. Gosh.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I just say one emergency after another.
Well, and I hope the president, I'm not a big fan of his politics and his policies, but I sure hope he gets through this in one piece. We don't need that to happen to him or anybody else.
No.
Including my beloved daughter. I'm sorry she's so sick, but she'll get over it, she says. Tuesday, Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote, the bit about the boats, the boat names. It's very clever. I'm going to do a little more work on that video with the photos he sent. We'll have that on Tuesday. We hope you have a great weekend wherever you are in the world, and spend it with the ones you love. And if you can, sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now.